Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Bill Powers, Managing Director here at Pittsburgh Opera, and we're here live in the George Roland White Opera Studio in the Pittsburgh Opera headquarters in the Strip District. The COVID-19 pandemic has put us in some unprecedented times, but we're finding fun, interesting, creative ways of delivering our programming, and we know your brown bag fervor knows no bounds. And so through the magic of a few cameras and a good internet connection, we're here for the first time live streaming a brown bag into your home, into your building, into your computer, your laptop, your phone, your tablet, so many options. And while we miss having our audience here, we're delighted that you've tuned in. And for the next 45 minutes, we hope to enchant and dazzle and bring a little operatic wonder into your lives. Today's program features our talented resident artists. Many new faces with us this year and a couple of returning ones. And so today, we're virtually going to get to know them. They've been here for about a month. They've quarantined for the first couple of weeks. They've been under strict safety protocols that are now standard operating procedure for all of us, and several of them are apartment mates and housemates, which gives us the opportunity for some creative staging. And speaking of staging, behind me here is the set of our upcoming production of Mozart's Così fan tutte, which you can live stream, see in a live stream on October 23rd, Friday, October 23rd, once again, into your homes. And so today, to start our programming, the first of our first two selections comes from Mozart's Così fan tutte, composed in 1790. It's an opera that explores the follies of love. The character Don Alfonso has wagered a bet with two young soldiers that he can prove that their girlfriends will be unfaithful to them. Certainly confident that that would never be the case, the soldiers accept this wager. And in our first scene, we meet these two wonderful young ladies. They are sisters, Fiordiligi and Dorabella, and they're daydreaming. And they're looking at pictures of their beloved ones and ogling over them. And Fiordiligi says, "Look, have you ever seen such a noble face?" And Dorabella, looking at her bow, says, have you ever seen such fire in his eyes? And they take a pledge that if ever their hearts should change affections, they will condemn themselves to a life of misery. And then we turn back the clock, roughly 80 years, to an aria from George Frederick Handel's opera Agrippina. Agrippina is the wife of the Emperor Claudius. And in a plot to put her son Nero on the throne, she has proclaimed that her husband Claudius has died in a tragic storm at sea. But Claudius has been saved by the valiant Ottone, and now Claudius has promised Ottone the throne. Uh-oh. But wait. Ottone is in love with the beautiful and lovely Poppaea. And Agrippina's scheming continues, and Agrippina says to Poppaea that Ottone has renounced his love for her in order to take the throne. Furious and betrayed, Poppaea sings this aria. "If Ottone has deceived me," she says, "then he has forfeited love for power, and my vengeance is just. He," she says, "who puts love in second place does not love, and my heart must defend itself." I'll take a bottle of what she's having. We change now to some of the rich and robust operatic literature from the Russian repertoire. Here, two selections from the composer Tchaikovsky, known certainly for the Nutcracker and Swan Lake in the 1812 overture, among others, but during the course of his life, he wrote 11 operas, and the first of our first two selections comes from his last opera, Jolanta. Story of Jolanta, a girl who was born blind. And at the behest of her father, King Rene, no one is to tell Jolanta that she is blind, and thus she lives a life of bliss, completely unaware that people are endowed with sight. But this haunts King Rene, and we find him in this moment haunted by that choice and decision, and he begs God for mercy. And he says, I will give away my crown, everything I have, my possessions, if you will just take the darkness out of her eyes. If I am the sinner, then why do you burden her, he says. O Lord, Lord, have mercy on me. And then we turn to another of Tchaikovsky's opera, Pique Dame, or the Queen of Spades. Here, the two young girls, Pauline and Liza, are singing songs at the piano for their friends, and their friends want them to sing more. And so Pauline sings this aria where she talks about how young girls enjoy their lives out in the field, singing and dancing. But this plaintive song admonishes that despite the enjoyment of life, the reward is only death. we continue to explore the wonderful and dazzling repertoire of the operatic literature. And the first of our next three selections comes from the American operatic literature, an opera by Carlisle Floyd called Susanna. Based on the apocryphal tale of Susanna and the Elders, tells a story of a young girl, Susanna, who is an innocent girl growing up in a small mountain town, but she's targeted as a sinner by her town for bathing naked in a creek. Here, we find her and it's evening, and she's talking with her friend Little Bat and reflecting on the stars and the sky and wondering what life might be like beyond the Tennessee town. And we follow with two great arias, well known to opera and opera fans. The first, the famous Una fortuna lagrima from The Elixir of Love by Donizetti. Nemorino is a young country boy who loves the beautiful Adina, who could care less to pay attention to him. And he decides to buy a love potion from a traveling Dr. Quack and thinks that it will help him win her over. Spoiler alert, it's really wine. We find ourselves in Act 2, and he's come into an unexpected inheritance, and suddenly all the ladies in town are interested in Nemorino, including, it seems, now Adina, who's discovered her love for him. And he sings this aria. He says, a sullen tear has started in her eye. These women have conjured up her envy, and I see now that she loves me. Oh, what joy, he says. Heavens, I cannot ask for more. And then we close this set with the famous Largo a Factotum from Rossini's The Barber of Seville. In this aria, the Barber of Seville, we meet him for the first time. And he's coming onto a public square, and we hear him from afar. And he comes running in to tell everyone of the joys that he has in the work that he does. And he says, make way for a barber of my quality. Everybody wants me. He says, everybody needs me. Figaro here, Figaro there, Figaro up, Figaro down. Ah, good fortune, and what a great life I have. Catchy. We have one more selection for you, but before we go, want to shout out to a number of people that make our programs and our concerts feasible every time we present them. First, to the staff behind the scenes working today and making this all possible, we thank you. Of course, thank the Friends of Pittsburgh Opera, who ordinarily would be here with us, setting up for a reception to meet and greet these wonderful artists. We miss seeing you. For those who don't know about Friends of Pittsburgh Opera, head to our website, pittsburghopera.org, and on the About tab, click down, and you'll see a tab for Friends of Pittsburgh Opera. See what they do, how they do it, and ways that you can get involved. They're in their membership drive right now, so joining would be apt and appropriate. For those who haven't renewed, now's the time to do it as well. We'd also like to thank our sponsors today. Allegheny Regional Asset District, thank you for your continued and generous support of Pittsburgh Opera. And we'd like to thank our specific brown bag sponsors today, DTE Foundation and Natural Awakenings Publications. We thank you for your support of this particular activity. We'd also like to thank the sponsors of each of these artists, our resident artists. We thank you for your continued support. Today's program wasn't feasible without two people in particular. Our resident artist stage director, who is behind the scenes now making things happen, Kaylee Karras-Smith. We thank you for all the work you did to make today possible. And of course, we're very fortunate here at Pittsburgh Opera to have a world-class music staff. And many brown baggers, you loyal brown baggers, will recognize and know a familiar face to us here. Our pianist in our orchestra today, Maestro James Lesniak. Thank you, James. Would also like to take a moment to remind you to tune in to our live stream of Mozart's Così fan tutte, which will happen here on this set on Friday, October 23rd. And finally, we know these are difficult times. They're difficult times for all of us. We here continue resolutely and boldly wanting to deliver our programming to you all, but we can't do it without you. And if you like what you see here and you like what we're doing in the community, we strongly encourage you to go to pittsburghopera.org/give. And please, give what you can, support what we're doing here to help us get us through this difficult and tricky time. And so we leave you today with one more taste of Mozart's Così fan tutte. This, the trio, the famous trio from Act 1. Don Alfonso now, in order to foster his scheme to prove these ladies' infidelity, has decided to send the two soldiers off to war, figuring if the men were away, the ladies would be vulnerable to other advances. And as the men are being sent away, Don Alfonso and the two ladies sing a beautiful serenade. And they say, "O tide gently flowing, O wind gently blowing, sheds happiness upon them, and long to restore them to us so that we can greet them once more." And how apt that is, because we long to restore you to us so that we may greet you once again. But in the meantime, we continue to hope that you'll tune into our activities and to be safe. We thank you for joining us for today's Brown Bag concert, and we hope you enjoyed getting to know these wonderful and talented resident artists here at Pittsburgh Opera. They are joined on stage by Kaylee Karras-Smith and James Lesniak to say a final goodbye and a wave to you all. We hope that you will join us for our live stream of Così fan tutte on October 23rd, and that you'll tune in next time in November for our next Brown Bag. And in the meantime, if you like what you see here and want to contribute, please go to pittsburghopera.org/give and do what you can to help us continue this fine and wonderful program. Thank you, be safe, and be well.